Hello. I am going to be the version of Pagan church lady in future for a video segment each week that puts all kinds of things under the microscope, but mainly those things out there that are anti-pagan. It really bothers me that we hear so much from the opposition to all things pagan. It's disturbing the amount of disinformation there is out there about us. It is about time that we had voices, not just mine, but voices from our community, coming out of the wilderness to tell people what we're about, to paint a true picture of who we are. We allow Hollywood and politicians to paint an ugly picture, a picture of us that is not an accurate one. And it's about time that we turn that tide around. This idea that a lot of people have about us being a lot of angry young people who are just wearing our magical symbols as a form of protest and rebellion. I guess if you're looking at it from their chair, it is rebellion because they arrogantly assume that everyone is on the same page that they are, and in their arrogance of it, espousing the teachings of a very archaic sacred text and very antiquated forms of bigotry and hatred. If you're coming from that position, and naturally in your arrogance with the one true God, you're going to look down at everyone else. You're looking at pagans as though we are subhuman, which is an outrage. The tide is definitely turning, and I am really sorry to say that a lot of people who started out in the New Age started out as apologists. Paganism, as with art, no apology is necessary. We don't have to apologize for who we are. If you embrace the arrogance that, a lot of fundamentalists, whatever, have, and you return what you get in a very Code of Hammurabi-like way, an eye for an eye, everybody does become blind. However, it is important for us to stand up for who we are, to tell people what we believe in, what we know to be true. It really is ever so cute that in whispers, especially Christians will come to me and say, "Oh, can you do a reading? Well, I don't believe in any of that stuff, and, I'm not down with astrology, but it's just fun to know these things." Well, I don't know whose benefit you're telling me that for, but, it is interesting to see the double standards that are out there. I, for one, am just not going to take it anymore. I'm not disposed to being tolerant of people that attack us from a position of ignorance. If you want to come at me and you know your material and your faith is unquestioning, then and you want to have a good discussion about it, fine. If you're like a sanctimonious prick like Bill O'Reilly, I'm not going to give you the time of day, or an Ann Coulter. I mean, come on. You know, on a sincerity factor, she registers as about a 0. You know, Ann's not stupid. She's very well educated, very smart. She's just, you know, and she was allowed to make that decision on whether she was going to go out in the world being a good teacher. She elected to be a really bad, mean-spirited one. She's got a lot of issues of anger, and, you know, just the idea of her standing in front of a church congregation with one of her notoriously short skirts on really amuses me. You know the people in the pews are looking from as low as they can to see if they can see up into the nether reaches of the 7 rings of hell. I'm sorry, but I don't find her to be all that attractive, and she is sending a bad message out to women in her party. You know, one can be too rich and one can be too thin. You know, and I would hope that women would not use her as a role model. But, you know, it is time for us to, you know, stand up and stand on a foundation of those things we know to be true, to stand on a foundation of our personal history as good people, to follow the legacy of the ancestors who died for what they accepted as truth. So, kids, it is that time. You know, we can't rest on our laurels with the few victories that we have right now. We have to raise opposition to oppressive thinking. We have to raise opposition to those who would pass discriminatory legislation. We have to stand up against organized religion getting involved in politics, because when politics and religion travel together, disastrous tsunamis and tempests will indeed follow, paraphrasing Frank Herbert of Dune. So get out there, be noticed, be there, you know, tell people who you are, and maybe it is a time to, you know, answer some of the arrogance with just a smidge of arrogance on your own. Most of the pagans I know are mentally and emotionally equipped to do a very fine, passionate battle. My name is Hugh Lundberg. I am the Fairy King, wishing all of you a wonderful life. Thank you for listening.